Growing up, I held on to a set of beliefs about love and relationships that shaped my understanding of the world. My parents had a strong marriage, a partnership built on trust and support. They taught me that true love meant being there for each other, no matter the circumstances. I believed that love could conquer all: distance, time, and even the harsh realities of life. But my worldview was about to be tested in ways I never imagined. When I met Anna, everything I thought I knew about love seemed to come alive. She was vibrant, passionate, and intelligent, and being with her felt like a dream. I had always wanted a partner who would challenge me, inspire me, and walk alongside me in this journey called life. With Anna, I found that, and more. She was my rock, my confidant, and the person I envisioned building a future with. However, as time passed, the idea of long-distance love crept into my mind. I began to think about what it meant to truly love someone. Could I be the partner Anna needed if we were thousands of miles apart? I feared that the physical distance would erode the bond we had fought so hard to build. The deeper I delved into these thoughts, the more convinced I became that I had to make a sacrifice for her happiness, believing that letting her go was an act of selflessness. My belief in the impossibility of long-distance relationships solidified during those conversations with friends and family. They often voiced the common sentiment: long distance never works. I internalized this advice, convinced that if I let Anna pursue her dreams without me, she would eventually find happiness elsewhere. I told myself I was doing the right thing, but deep down, I grappled with doubt and fear. Would I lose her for good? Could love truly endure across the miles? Or was I setting us both up for failure? This inner conflict marked the beginning of my emotional roller coaster. The conviction that love should be effortless and close began to crumble, leaving me vulnerable and uncertain. Little did I know that my beliefs would soon be challenged in ways that would force me to reevaluate everything I thought I knew about love, connection, and commitment. As the day of Anna's departure drew closer, an overwhelming sense of dread settled in my chest. It was as if the weight of the world rested on my shoulders. I could feel the pressure mounting. Her dreams were calling her to Europe, while I grappled with the prospect of a future without her. I tried to convince myself that this was the noble choice, the selfless act of love that would ensure her happiness. Yet deep inside, I felt a nagging voice whispering doubts. The night before she was set to leave, we sat on our favorite bench in the park, the place where we shared countless memories. The air was thick with unspoken words, and I could sense her apprehension. I knew she was torn between her dreams and her love for me, just as I was. My heart ached as I looked into her eyes, searching for reassurance, but all I could see was uncertainty. "I don't want to hold you back, Anna," I said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach my eyes. "You need to pursue this opportunity. It's a chance of a lifetime." Tears welled up in her eyes, and she reached for my hand. "But what about us, Jake? I don't want to lose you. Can't we make it work?" Her words struck me like a thunderbolt, igniting a battle within me. I wanted to tell her that I would do anything to keep our love alive, but the fear of what lay ahead paralyzed me. I had seen too many relationships crumble under the strain of distance. The thought of Anna feeling trapped or resentful weighed heavily on my mind. So, I made the decision that would haunt me. I broke up with her. "I think it's best if we go our separate ways," I said, my voice shaking. "You need to focus on your studies, and I need to figure things out for myself." In that moment, I felt a part of me shatter. I watched as Anna's face fell, her expression morphing from confusion to heartbreak. The realization of what I had done hit me like a tidal wave. I convinced myself that this was for her own good, but deep down, I knew I had just ripped away the fabric of our shared dreams. After saying goodbye, I stood there, rooted to the spot as she walked away. Each step she took felt like a dagger to my heart. I had just let go of the one person who made my life vibrant and meaningful. In the days that followed, the weight of my decision settled heavily on my shoulders, morphing into a suffocating cloud of regret. I told myself it was the right choice, yet every moment without her felt like a cruel reminder of my loss. As the weeks passed, I found myself enveloped in silence, longing for the laughter and love we had shared. I was trapped in a limbo of my own making, wrestling with the reality that I had sacrificed our love for a future that now felt uncertain. I yearned to hear her voice, to feel the warmth of her presence, but I had sealed our fate with a decision I believed was noble. Little did I know that my painful choice was only the beginning of a journey filled with emotional turmoil and unexpected revelations. After Anna left for Europe, I felt an emptiness settle in my life. The silence was deafening, and I was plagued by the what-ifs. Had I made a mistake? I found myself replaying our last conversation in my mind, wondering if I could have fought harder for us. I scrolled through old photos, each one a reminder of the love we once shared. I missed our inside jokes, the late-night talks, and the way her laughter filled the room. Each day without her felt like an endless loop of regret. I questioned whether my belief that love couldn't survive distance was wrong. Maybe I had let my fears dictate my actions, sabotaging what could have been. The letters began arriving soon after, mysterious, handwritten notes that stirred something deep within me. They became my solace, offering glimpses of Anna's thoughts and feelings, reigniting the spark of hope. But with each letter, the questions grew louder in my mind. What did she truly want? Did she still love me? And most importantly, could I find the courage to reach out and bridge the distance between us? As the weeks turned into months, the letters became a lifeline for me. Each one was filled with memories, inside jokes, and snippets of Anna's life in Europe. She wrote about her adventures, her struggles, and her longing for home. With every letter, I felt her presence, as if she was sitting right next to me, sharing her world. Reading her words sparked a flicker of hope within me. Anna's vulnerability reminded me of the love we had built together. I could sense her yearning for connection, and it stirred something deep inside me. I began to wonder if there was still a chance for us, even if the miles stretched between us. However, I was also haunted by doubt. Was I reading too much into her letters? Did they mean she wanted me back? Or was she simply sharing her experiences? I wrestled with these thoughts, torn between the comfort of her words and the fear of reaching out. I found myself longing to respond, to tell her how much I missed her, but uncertainty held me back. Yet, the letters ignited a flame of determination in me. I realized that true love transcended distance, and if I wanted to rekindle what we once had to take a leap of faith. One fateful afternoon, I received a letter that felt different. It was thicker than the others, and my heart raced as I opened it. Inside was Anna's familiar handwriting, but this time she included her name and address, inviting me to visit her in Europe. My pulse quickened with excitement and apprehension. Could this be her way of saying she still cared? The thought filled me with hope, yet fear lingered. What if the reality didn't match my expectations? I envisioned the possibility of seeing her, of reigniting our connection, but I was also terrified of rejection. After days of contemplation, I decided to take the plunge. I booked a flight, driven by the belief that true love deserved a chance. The journey felt surreal, each mile bringing me closer to the woman who had once meant everything to me. As the plane touched down, I felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. I knew this was my opportunity to confront my fears and embrace the possibility of a new beginning. As I stepped off the plane, a wave of emotions washed over me: excitement, fear, and an overwhelming longing to see Anna again. The airport buzzed with activity, but all I could think about was our reunion. Would she be waiting for me? Would the connection we once had still be there? When I finally spotted her, my heart skipped a beat. Anna stood there, a blend of nervousness and joy on her face, just as I remembered. The moment our eyes met, everything else faded away. We rushed toward each other, and as we embraced, it felt like no time had passed. Yet as we pulled back to look at each other, a wave of uncertainty hit me. Would we fall back into our old rhythm, or had too much changed? Our laughter filled the air, but I could sense the underlying tension. We needed to confront the elephant in the room: the breakup, the distance, and the letters that had brought us here. With my heart racing, I took a deep breath. "I've missed you so much, Anna. I've thought a lot about us." Her eyes softened, and she nodded. "I've missed you too, Jake. I never stopped thinking about you." These letters were my way of keeping our connection alive, even when we were apart. In that moment, I realized that our love had endured the distance, and this reunion was just the beginning of our journey toward healing and understanding. After our initial excitement, we found a quiet cafe to sit down and talk. The atmosphere was warm, yet the tension was palpable. I could see the questions swirling in Anna's eyes, just as I felt my own doubts rising. As we sipped our coffees, I finally opened up. "I was so scared to lose you, Anna. I thought breaking up was the best choice. I didn't want to hold you back, but now I wonder if I was wrong." She looked at me with a mix of sadness and understanding. "I felt abandoned, Jake. I wanted to share my journey with you, not leave you behind. The letters were my way of reaching out to show you that I still cared." Her honesty struck a chord within me. I realized we both had been fighting our own battles, misunderstanding each other's intentions. The conversation flowed, revealing our vulnerabilities, fears, and the love that still lingered beneath the surface. We shared our dreams, the challenges of distance, and how it had shaped us as individuals. I could see the pain in her eyes as she spoke, and it mirrored my own. Yet through it all, there was a flicker of hope, a realization that despite the heartache, we still had a chance to rebuild our connection. By the end of our conversation, I felt lighter, as if a weight had been lifted. We agreed that while the distance was challenging, our love was worth fighting for. After our heartfelt conversation, I felt a renewed sense of clarity. It was time to make a decision, one that would determine the future of our relationship. As we sat across from each other, I could see the determination in Anna's eyes, mirroring my own desire to make this work. "I want us to try, Anna," I said, my voice steady. "I know it won't be easy, but I believe we can make this long-distance relationship work. We've already proven that love can transcend miles with your letters." Her face lit up with a mixture of relief and excitement. "I want that too, Jake. Let's not let distance define us. We can be committed, communicate regularly, and support each other's dreams. I believe in us." In that moment, we both realized that love isn't just about being physically close. It's about being emotionally connected and committed to one another. We discussed how we would navigate the challenges ahead, scheduling video calls, planning visits, and sharing our lives despite the distance. With our hearts aligned, we decided to embark on this new chapter together. The decision wasn't just about maintaining a relationship. It was a commitment to cherish and nurture our love, no matter the obstacles we faced. As we walked out of the cafe hand in hand, I felt a wave of optimism wash over me. We were ready to face whatever came next, united by our shared commitment to each other. As the months went by, I began to notice a profound shift, not just in my relationship with Anna, but within myself as well. The distance had challenged me to grow in ways I hadn't anticipated. I became more resilient, learning to navigate the complexities of our long-distance love while pursuing my personal ambitions. Encouraged by Anna's unwavering support, I decided to focus on my career more than ever. I enrolled in online courses to enhance my skills, inspired by her commitment to her studies in Europe. The time apart became a catalyst for self-improvement. I found myself setting new goals and striving for achievements that I had previously put on hold. Our conversations shifted from just catching up to sharing our dreams and aspirations. Anna would often encourage me to take risks and pursue opportunities, reminding me that true love means wanting the best for each other. It felt empowering to have someone believe in me so wholeheartedly. In turn, I wanted to give her the same encouragement. I would often ask about her projects and experiences, offering support as she tackled her own challenges. Our relationship blossomed as we became each other's cheerleaders, celebrating every success and comforting each other through setbacks. This period of growth transformed our bond. It wasn't just about surviving the distance, it was about thriving in it. We learned to embrace change and new opportunities, proving that love could flourish even when life took us down different paths. After months of nurturing our relationship from afar, Anna and I felt it was time for a reunion, an opportunity to celebrate our love in person. The anticipation of being together again filled me with excitement and a hint of nervousness. Would our connection feel as strong in person as it did over the phone? We spent weeks planning every detail of my visit. Anna had compiled a list of places she wanted to show me, and I couldn't wait to experience her life in Europe firsthand. The thought of walking hand in hand through the quaint streets of her city filled me with joy. As the date approached, we counted down the days, eagerly anticipating our reunion. Each conversation we had seemed to heighten the excitement. I found myself daydreaming about our time together, the cozy cafes we would visit, the laughter we would share, and the moments of quiet connection that would remind us why we fell in love in the first place. When the day finally arrived, I felt a mix of exhilaration and nervousness. Would everything be as perfect as I imagined? As I boarded the plane, my heart raced with anticipation. I could almost feel Anna's presence beside me, her excitement mirrored in my own. Arriving in her city, I could hardly contain my emotions. The moment I saw her at the airport, I knew that every letter, every call, and every moment of waiting had been worth it. Our embrace felt like coming home. In that instant, I understood that our love was more than just words on a page or a screen. It was a living, breathing connection that had only grown stronger through the distance. Our reunion felt like magic. As I wrapped my arms around Anna at the airport, a wave of joy washed over me. In that moment, the months of distance faded away, replaced by the warmth of her presence. We spent the first few hours catching up, marveling at the familiar yet new feelings that swirled between us. Exploring her city together was a dream come true. Every street corner held a new adventure, and I loved seeing the world through her eyes. We wandered through charming markets, visited art galleries, and savored local cuisine. Each moment was a celebration of our love, reminding us how much we had missed being together. But it wasn't just about the sights, it was the little things that truly mattered. I cherished our quiet moments, like cuddling on the couch while watching a movie or sharing deep conversations over breakfast. I found comfort in the way she laughed at my jokes and the familiar sparkle in her eyes that reminded me why I had fallen in love with her. Rediscovering Anna was like peeling back layers of a cherished memory. I noticed the changes in her, how she had grown and evolved during our time apart. But even amidst those changes, the essence of who she was remained the same. Our shared inside jokes, the little quirks, and the familiar rhythm of our conversations all contributed to a sense of belonging. As we embraced the joy of being together again, I realized that our love had not only survived the distance, it had flourished. We were no longer two individuals separated by miles, but a couple who had faced challenges together and emerged stronger, ready to build a future side by side. As my visit with Anna unfolded, it became clear that we were ready to take the next step in our relationship. Our time together had reaffirmed everything we had built during our long-distance months. We had not only survived the distance, but had also grown closer, and I felt a deep sense of certainty about our future. One evening, as we strolled along a scenic riverside, the golden hues of the setting sun bathed us in warmth. I paused, taking a moment to gather my thoughts. "Anna," I began, "these past few weeks have shown me how much you mean to me. I can't imagine my life without you." She turned to me, her eyes reflecting both hope and vulnerability. "I feel the same way, Jake. This has been a journey, and I believe we can face whatever comes next together." With a sense of conviction, I took her hands in mine. "Let's make a promise to support each other no matter the challenges we face. I want to build a life with you, one filled with love and adventure. Distance won't hold us back anymore." Anna smiled, her expression radiant. "I promise, Jake, we're in this together, and I believe our love can withstand anything." That promise solidified our commitment to one another. We knew there would be challenges ahead, career demands, potential relocations, and the uncertainties of life, but we also understood that our love would be the foundation on which we could build a beautiful future. As we shared that promise, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. Our love had evolved into something powerful, and together, we were ready to embrace the next chapter of our lives, hand in hand, heart to heart.